purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors? Now, time for the most in-depth look at the world of ECU athletics. Welcome in to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Now, here's your host, Stephen Igo.
Welcome in, Hoist the Colors on a Monday. It is Super Bowl week, the big game coming up this Sunday. This edition of the show, February 3rd, we will preview, of course, the contest between Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles throughout the week. We'll also talk some Pirate Hoops, ECU basketball coming off a tough loss in overtime to the Temple Owls. We'll break that down. We'll also talk about my trip to Charlotte to see an NBA game. I've got some questions coming out of that for the panel here today. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. If you got a question, comment, concern, drop it there. We'll get to it throughout the next hour. We're within 2 weeks of ECU baseball season, so we'll discuss that, I'm sure, as well at some point. All right, let's introduce today's crew. We've got Philip Pilkington behind the glass, as always. Philip, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing good. And we've got the return of Joseph Samson, who was out last week. We did have to record early, so it was an excused absence, Joe. It's not like we were.
There were a couple issues on top of that also kind of played into some things, but we're fine.
Yeah,
so they didn't cancel me yet.
We're on good terms. You're not you're not in a bad place. So we'll get your take on the Super Bowl here shortly. But you have a good weekend, man?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. You know, the renegotiations worked. Now I'm in the middle, obviously, so I'm the center of attention on the stream for everybody on our video audience that gets to see this and my beautiful moniker right in the middle of the screen. So it was good. Weekend was good. Bought a table and a dining set, so big adult purchase there. Move it up in the world. So yeah,
that's a big deal, man.
It's a far walk from the guy who ate a shoe live on air last year around this time.
Yeah, I still have that shoe. I'll see if I can find it here in a minute.
It's funny. People ask about it. Like, we'll have people say, like, Cliff was in a couple weeks ago, and he's like, what the hell is this shoe?
Mike Sirignano, strength coach, he was in.
I wish I could have played for the Paisan. I feel like we would have gotten along swimmingly.
There's still chocolate on this shoe, by the way.
We should condemn that. The CDC's going to come in and find a new plague.
There's also 3 bottled waters under there, too. So you can stay hydrated while you're eating a shoe.
These are probably Bobby's.
Yeah.
They're definitely Bobby's.
Just stacking them up for each passing week. Cameron's already got a question about ECU basketball. We'll get to it in a minute, Cameron, I promise. It's a valid question. I do want to start with something off topic. Not that anybody really is tuning into the show for NBA, but I attended my second ever NBA game this weekend. It brought up a question, more of a big picture question. By the way, Nuggets win. Hornets they're abysmal, but they made it a game. They added some drama. I know they had LaMelo Ball out and some other key players, but Spectrum Center, nice place, man. I really enjoyed it. The atmosphere wasn't great, but I did enjoy the experience, and the Nuggets won. Nikola Jokic, no surprise, triple-double. Almost had it at halftime. Anyways, I'm taking in the atmosphere. And they've got, the music and the chants going in-game as the players are playing, which you can hear on TV, but I don't know, it's just a different, experiencing it in person. My question to you guys is, are we a fan of that, and why is it not done in college? It's just an NBA thing. I think you can't even do it. You cannot even do it in college. Yeah, it's not. It's against the rules. So do you guys like that? Would you like to see it in college in any degree? I'll start with Philip.
No. I think it's the student section's job to do it. So I kind of understand in the NBA where you don't have a student section, them not doing it. But at the end of the day, it just seems so artificial, and it almost seems like, hey, we're admitting we're putting a bad product out there. We need to play these in-game sounds to keep people invested because the NBA is a bad product. So that's part of it. Look, I encourage chanting. I love it. I love hype student sections, Grand Canyon, Duke. As much as I'm not like an avid soccer fan, I respect the European soccer where they're chanting the whole time. I think that teams should do that more, but I think that should be a fan thing. It should not be artificially done by some guy clicking buttons. I do not want to see Katie down there clicking buttons mid-game, even though she does a great job with everything else. I don't want to see her artificially starting chants through her computer for our fans.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got in football you'll have some some graphics pop up or a song pop up on third down, but I feel like it's not. I mean, like you have music going the entire game in NBA. Like it switches every time there's a ball change of possession. You know, it goes to more like upbeat music when the home team's on offense, and it goes to like a defense chant on defense. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous, Joe. I don't know. Any thoughts here?
Yeah, I hate it. I hate the pageantry of all that stuff. And not because I'm a hater of trying to make it an environment for entertainment when it comes to the game. Music shouldn't be played during it. It's not played in football. It's not played during baseball. It's played in between pitches, obviously, and then they do the chants the same way because they're trying to create that. And then the jungle does a great job with the megaphones. And that's the closest we really have outside of a defense chant or when we do the money down for ECU football. I don't need to hear music while RJ's dribbling up the court or while we're running back in transition trying to play defense. I hate it in the NBA. I hate all of a sudden when Jalen Brunson gets a steal and goes to kick it out to the wing, and I can hear the music trying to switch in the arena in MSG as Josh Hart's trying to take a three from the wing. Then I'm like, okay, like what atmosphere am I supposed to be feeling here? Because Mike Breen's trying to call it, and then you hear the PA guy trying to call it, and then you hear the music trying to call it, and then there's the 7-second delay over the broadcast anyway. So to me, it's always been that kind of a buzzkill, if you would. Oh, it's 10-second now?
They had to change it to 10-second after the Janet Jackson thing at Super Bowl 38.
Even worse.
All right, well, there's your NBA talk. We might talk about Luka later.
Go Knicks. Go Knicks.
But I just thought it was interesting. By the way, so shout out to, again, Spectrum Center. I will be back in the Spectrum Center in 2 months, guys, for the Disturbed 25th anniversary tour of
Hell
The Sickness.
yeah.
So I'll be checking that out in a couple months with my brother. So if you're going, let me know.
I wanted to be boots on ground for Monday Night Raw in Spectrum Center. Just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah, Nick and I keep talking about that too. Nick's trying to like get everybody to go.
Happen.
He's trying to get like me and Dom to go, and like
It's
Dom
just
doesn't care about
far.
wrestling. I know it's sort of because it's on a Monday too. I think if it's SmackDown,
4.5
I could like
hours.
yeah. Well, if it was SmackDown, I think I could talk Patrick and like, hey, let's take the show early and we go Friday. But like Monday night
it's
is
a
just
Monday.
so tough. Yeah,
Too
So
much
you got to
going
drive
on.
back from Monday night to be
Yeah.
there for Tuesday. It's inconvenient.
it is.
But it's John Cena, so.
It is.
John Cena. We might even get into some wrestling talk too, because apparently, spoiler alert, turn off your radio if you haven't watched the Rumble yet, but Jey Uso was victorious in the Rumble, eliminating John Cena. So if we get desperate, we can talk wrestling, which I know Joe's got some thoughts on. Let's talk ECU basketball. Get this out of the way. Cameron's got a question.
Get it out of the way, dang I go.
But I'm just saying,
No, it's
a
fair.
lot of
It's
negativity
fair.
from the fan base after this loss. I'm like,
And
this
you
is-
got to know your panel. I'm not the basketball expert.
Joe
on
isn't the
panel.
basketball expert. He's
I'm not Joey Hoops.
He's a Super Bowl. He's a baseball guy. He's a football guy, but he can weigh in enough. And look, anytime you're talking about loss, Philip, you want to get it out of the way. We want to move on to positive things here. Missed opportunity though for sure, because we talked about how much this game meant for the standings, and so I'll be honest, traveling to Charlotte with the wife on Saturday, did not get to see the game in full. Now, I had it up on Stat Broadcast, and I watched the end of regulation on my phone, saw the final possession, and saw that C.J. Walker was just dominant when I did tune in. He finished with 33 points. He was 14 of 22 from the floor. Just a phenomenal performance, 7 rebounds as well, did end up fouling out as the game went to overtime. So Cameron's got a good question here. Pirates lose 98-94 to Temple. Again, this is a big swing game for the standings. If ECU would have won, they would have passed Temple in the standings. Instead, they dropped 2 games behind them, and now they've split, so you don't have the tiebreaker, so that's a huge deal. ECU right now in 7th place in the league. At 4-5, they host Rice on Wednesday. Still a manageable schedule coming up, but a missed opportunity. ECU did not they had to lead, or they did not trail in the entirety of regulation, and they lost the basketball game, which kind of speaks to how well ECU played but could not finish, which is extremely frustrating. Cameron, with the question, Philip, of can we talk about how C.J. Walker only touched the ball once the final 2 minutes of regulation Saturday? He said the coaching's incompetence showed once again. So, again, I was tuned in and out. I know you were producing the game, so you could hear the call. What happened in the final sequence where Obviously they went to RJ on the final play, which we can get into that. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but CJ Walker kind of a non-factor after a dominant game late.
Yeah, the tough thing was it kind of seemed like ECU got in playing not to lose instead of playing to win there towards the end, which, I'm a pretty conservative guy when it comes to coaching, when you think of going for on fourth down and some other things. So I don't totally hate that, but what was happening was when they were kind of bleeding the shot clock down, it kind of just came and laid into like who they could get the ball to, and it didn't seem like there were really drawn up plays for specific guys. Now there wasn't like we were calling timeouts and really had that opportunity anyways, so it would have been nice if we could have worked something out for CJ, but at the end of the day, when you're a team who bleeds the shot clock down, you've got to kind of get the ball in the hands of your most prolific scorer and hope he makes it. On that given day, it was CJ, so it would have been nice to have seen CJ get the ball more, but at the end of the day, what this really boiled down to is you allowed 0 second chance points. You allowed 2 offensive rebounds, and the reason why you were so successful early in this game and not late was early there were no fouls being called. That worked in your favor. You were crashing the offensive glass. Your opponent wasn't. Then there were 39 fouls called in the second half and overtime combined, and that really bails out the team who isn't crashing the boards offensively. And there were just a lot of times where it seems like the more fouls that got called on East Carolina and the more freebies that Temple got at the line, it kind of translated, it seemed like, to the offensive side of the ball, where they were a little frustrated that a foul had been called on them. They were a little frustrated that their opponent had gotten free points in their eyes. And it kind of seemed like when they came back down the court, they were kind of just feeling sorry for themselves and just more worried about bleeding clock than putting the ball in the basket. So, yeah, is it frustrating? Sure. But also, it's very tough as a player when you play 20 minutes of basketball one way and then you have to go play 20 minutes an entirely different way because the Zebras think it's a zebra show, and no one bought tickets to go to the zoo on Saturday. They bought tickets to go to a basketball game. So we shouldn't be looking at zebras. We should be looking at basketball players. And that was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, Phillip, 0 free throws shot in the first half. 61 free throws shot in the second half and overtime. Like that shouldn't happen, man. Like even if the game goes to overtime, like I mean, that's just the referees trying to change how the game is played. And yeah, like naturally you're going to have more free throws in late game situations, probably because more teams are in desperation mode. But still, I mean, from 0 to 61, that's silly.
And I'm not exaggerating. Overtime was a half an hour long. Regulation ended at 4:04 p.m. Overtime ended at 4:34 p.m. Overtime shouldn't take, I mean, even if you're fouling at the end, a lot of possessions, it should max take 15 minutes, but still 12 is probably a good number. This, to me, shows the officials' inconfidence in themselves. When you're an official and you call a lot of fouls, that means you are trying to overtake the game because you're worried that if it becomes fast-paced, if it becomes more physical, that you do not have the ability to make the right calls. So you try and slow the game down by calling every ticky-tack thing you can. And if you look at foul counts, especially in mid-majors, I'm going to pick on Charleston. College of Charleston. Ted Valentine lives in Charleston. He has done some of their Friday night games. When you look at the amount of fouls called when Ted Valentine does the game, as opposed to an official you've never heard of, the foul counts are almost double. Why? Because Ted Valentine can maintain game control with a fast-paced, physical game, and he has confidence in himself to do that. It shows lack of confidence in yourself. It shows lack of ability, lack of confidence in your two partners. It's bad. The officials should be at least brought in and scolded for calling 0 free throw attempts in the first half and backing up with 61. It's terrible. This is not an excuse for East Carolina to lose. You've got to make shots down at the end. You missed foul shots and your opponent didn't. Not excusing the loss at all. That was a bad loss. Not because Temple's a bad team, they're a good team, but the way you were up late and the way you led all but the first 13 seconds of that game, you should have won the basketball game. Not excusing it, but that was terrible officiating. And it wasn't terrible from the fact of bad judgment calls. It was terrible from the fact of you were trying to overtake everything, and it's just bad.
Bad all around. Joe, I don't know if you got the chance to catch any of this game, but your thoughts as Pirates. Again, honestly, They've played Temple now twice. I feel like ECU, when they go head-to-head, looks like the better team, but you come out with a split here and what could have been a a potential season changer on the road.
100% could have been a season changer. I think my issue is, and Philip alluded to it a little bit, the inability to call the game the right way. If you look at the first half, there were none that you went, okay, that should have been a call. Okay, they're letting them play today. And then there were situations where they were down on, I think it was the other side of it, and they were down on the left side of the wing, and there was clearly contact on the arm, and they just let it play. So you're like, okay, that's the kind of game it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. You're going to be a little more physical when you go down into the paint, when you're trying to drive the lane. That's how the game's going to go. And then, like we said, a completely different game all of a sudden. It's like the Jordan rules went into effect, and all of a sudden hand checking wasn't allowed anymore, or reaching in, or anything else when it came to playing defense in a man situation against the Temple Owls. And it went the other side too. Temple got a lot of ticky-tack fouls called on them. That's why we saw 61 free throws. If you wanted to say 15 free throws per team, so you have 30 total free throws at the end of the game because of late game situations and trying to foul or and ones, I'd get it. 61 is absurd. 61, no matter how it was sliced, means that you were handing teams almost 30 points on both sides, one way or the other, give or take a few. And that's the problem with it. Every single person in that arena knew the ball should have gone to CJ. So if that's the case, when you get into that late game situation, Schwartz, I understand you can't draw it up on the fly. Call a decoy play, call a victory, get some kind of backdoor screen for CJ to come around and take the defense away to get RJ a shot on the wing. Do something like that. And it just seems like over and over and over again, it's been the same kind of base calls. And in late situations like that, you have to have some kind of ingenuity or work something in practice where you can flash a hand signal and all of a sudden you get some kind of backdoor screen or some off-ball stuff because you are using the whole shot clock. It's not like you're running out there and you're high tempo and you don't call plays because you're going to go and score with 8 seconds off the clock. You are bleeding the shot clock. Have some kind of offensive plan and do what you need to do. And that's just what stood out to me. And it stood out to me when we lost to Memphis also.
Pirates lose a tough one, 98-94. Again, if they would have won, it would have been the first time they've ever won 4 in a row in conference play since joining the American. Also would have given them 3 wins on the road in 4 games, which would have been another feat that ECU has rarely accomplished. So, frustrating loss. I mean, is it, the end of the season? No, but definitely, like Philip said, a bad loss because, honestly, you should have won the game. And frustrating from the standpoint of the fouls. And let's be honest, guys, Temple took advantage of the fouls. They go 25 of 32 from the line, 78%. ECU missed 10 free throws, 19 of 29, 65%. Not good, especially clutch late. They missed some big free throws. Felton missed 5, and typically a very good free throw shooter. I think part of it, honestly, he's probably just tired. I mean, he's playing so.
Oh, definitely.
He's playing so much and so hard.
He's playing 36 minutes.
Yeah. Walker also missed 5, and again, he's playing a lot too. But both those guys are usually 70 to 75% free throw shooters. Felton near 80% in the past. So Pirates lose, tough one, and again, 3-point shooting kind of came back down to earth, but they did enough from a rebounding perspective where they played their game. They should have had a way to win it, and just unfortunate the Pirates come up short on the road. So 98-94 loss to Temple. We'll get more into that. Maybe we got another comment on the other side from C. Fornell we'll get to. And then we'll talk about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 59. What does Joe Samson think of the matchup between the Chiefs and the Eagles? Do the Eagles have a shot to knock Pat Mahomes off his throne? We'll discuss that and more. This is Hoist the Colors on a Monday.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast, Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best small town.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Here there be pirates. Back to Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo. How good is this on 94.3 The Game?
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Monday. We were talking during the break some news about the ECU football staff from a support standpoint. We got the VIP chat going on every Monday on hoistthecolors.net. You can check that out for the latest on a change there, as one of our recent in-studio guests is going to leave for another job. So we got that in the Hoist the Colors VIP chat. Check it out online. We were talking, guys, Joe Samson with us, Philip Pilkington with us as well on this Monday edition. We'll talk Super Bowl in a minute. C. Fornell on YouTube says, Walker, we're talking about ECU basketball losing to Temple. He says, C.J. Walker was eating Temple alive in the first half. Temple made adjustments and started them in the second half. Didn't seem ECU was ready to match that. Helps to make free throws. He said Temple triple team Walker on the first drive in the second half, and that's when it went sideways. So some commentary there. Again, Pirates can't close out Temple. Tough loss on the road. Got any other questions, comments, concerns? Drop in the chat. We'll get to it throughout the next hour. Super Bowl 59, Joseph Samson and Philip Pilkington. Philip and I have talked about this a lot, Joe, but how about your take on this game? Are you excited? Or, I mean, it's the Super Bowl, so like naturally we're all excited, but we just saw this 2 years ago, Chiefs-Eagles. Is it still moving your needle?
I mean, the moniker Joey Football does not mean I turn down a game of football. We only get so many within the year. I watch every Super Bowl. I am appointment television for every Super Bowl. I'm a Jets fan, have been for my entire life. I sat there and watched glued to the TV when Tom Brady completed the unfortunate greatest comeback of all time within a Super Bowl and watched the Patriots. So I love football. This is what I live for. As far as moving the needle, look, we've been here before. A team that looks as dominant as they ever been when it comes to the Eagles. And, this is the year that they're finally going to do it and they're going to get over the hump. And this Chiefs team isn't the Chiefs team of the past. The Chiefs is still the Chiefs. This is what they do. Oh, well, Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the top 5 conversations of MVP this year. Oh, we didn't throw that many touchdown passes. Oh, they really didn't throw to Kelsey much. Great. Cool. It's going to be Chiefs like 31 and then 28 on the side of the Eagles. The Eagles will score in the first drive. It'll be Saquon Barkley. Spags will come out. He'll stack the box. They'll go to A.J. Brown on the side. Then they'll go to Devontae Smith. Calcaterra's going to catch a touchdown for absolutely no reason because nobody will hammer his over. And then that's how it's going to be. Andy Reid will make some kind of crazy call that gets the ball out to Kareem Hunt to walk in for a touchdown that nobody would have ever saw before. And Mahomes will get his 4th. Cool. Moving on. Maybe Travis will retire. Who knows? There's a lot of storylines.
Yeah, I just, I mean, all that sounds very plausible based off recent history.
Somebody has the script.
Yeah, Joe got his hands on the script.
Totally.
I don't know, man. I'm excited about eating some wings on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Having some friends over. Outside of that, I'm getting to the point where I don't think I'm going to even really watch this game. I mean, I'll watch it. I'll have it on the background, but I'm not going to be invested.
Fair.
I'm not going to be invested in it. I don't know.
Fair, yeah. Not sweating it.
And, we have the Logan Zone every Thursday. I don't know if you heard this stat, Joe, last week from Steve Logan himself. Patrick Mahomes, in situations where there's a minute or less to go and he needs a touchdown or field goal at the end of regulation, he is 7 for 7 in those opportunities, which is just absurd. So,
including when they played the Patriots to go to overtime and then Brady won the coin toss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only way to win, right? And Phil and I have talked about this as well, is
hold the ball.
Hold the ball or beat them so bad that he doesn't get that chance.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up here, because, you said you'd have it on in the background, and this, what I'm about to say is so tough to do at a Super Bowl party, especially when there's kids there. This, to me, is one of those Super Bowls where, if you take away the logos on the side of the helmets and the outside noise, let's talk about the 4 coordinators here. This actually would be a great Super Bowl to watch by yourself, I think, because the chess match that will go on when both teams have the ball among what I think is 4 very good coordinators will be very interesting and entertaining to watch, but it's tough in the environment of the Super Bowl party to watch it that in depth. And then on top of it, when you're at the Super Bowl party, the logo on the helmet does mean a lot. And unfortunately, it's not the right 2 logos to get people intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, from a pure football standpoint, like Spagnuolo and Fangio, from a defensive coordinator standpoint, that's like elite coordinator minds. And obviously, I mean, Andy Reid is Andy Reid, and the Eagles' offense is incredible too. So,
the future head coach of the Saints, Kellen Moore.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes that is a good way to look at it. It makes perfect sense, and let's be honest, I mean, they're 2 really good football teams. The rosters from top to bottom. I know Mahomes gets a lot of credit and Kelsey, but the Chiefs are really good, top to bottom. People don't realize how good their defensive personnel is, and their offensive line is. And I don't know. Kareem Hunt, I guess, is still somewhat good. I can't believe he's actually functioning at this age and
Best
doing what he's
kicker
doing.
in the NFL.
And so, yeah, what's going to happen is I'm going to go all in on betting on the Chiefs for the first time in my life, and they're going to let me down and lose, which I might
100%.
I might be fine with if I'm losing money on Super Bowl Sunday via betting, as long as the Chiefs are losing too. I think I can live with it, guys.
Do it. Pick the Chiefs because you've been bad at picks this year. Bet on the Chiefs and watch Saquon ride off in the sunset on his 28th
Yeah, if you're going to do
birthday.
that, can you hedge that Jalen Hurts will win MVP on your bets also, so I don't have to hear him give some kind of speech?
Jalen Hurts winning Super Bowl MVP.
It's the samurai that laughs in the dojo, that cries on the battlefield, on the path of righteousness to win this game. Jalen, I don't care. Say you're going to Disney World. I don't care.
I feel like the only way Jalen Hurts wins MVP is if the Eagles get second and goal at the 1 4 times, and he just happens to be the beneficiary of the tush push.
Either that or
So
they
what's
just
gonna
swing
happen?
it for 400 yards and Saquon doesn't do anything.
9 screens to Saquon, and he takes him for 125 yards worth of screen passes, and then Jalen Hurts finishes with 300 yards in the Super Bowl because he threw for 170.
Yeah.
So
it could happen.
I know we got Super Bowl trivia. Let's save that for the other side.
All right.
I want to ask you guys, the tush push in general, I feel like we've had this conversation with this exact crew on the show, but isn't it time to just ban the play? I mean, I just feel like it's not fair. I mean, to have 4 guys lined behind
Are we
Jalen
talking
Hurts-
about this on the other side, or are we talking about this now?
We're talking about this now. We're talking about
Okay,
the Super Bowl
okay,
trivia on the
okay.
other side.
Okay.
I think
I'll let
it's
Philip go first.
To me, it's cheating. You have 3 guys deliberately pushing forward. I get you can stop it. The Bills tried to run it, but they only had 1 guy pushing Josh Allen. The Eagles strategically have 3 guys pushing them, and Hurts as strong as an ox, so like it works. But I hate it.
Well, first off, real quick off topic, last night we saw a new version of the brotherly shove with what Austin and Ty Dillon were doing to each other. That's a brotherly shove right there.
On the Clash?
Yeah, 3,000-pound stock car. No, it is not time to ban the tush push. If you don't want me dancing in your end zone, don't let me score. If you don't want me pushing my players' tush, don't let me pick up a first down. I am not for the NFL stepping in and regulating things. I think face masks should be a penalty. I think that horse collars should be a penalty, and I think all the procedural things that just give you a true disadvantage should be a penalty. Other than that, the Rules Committee and the governing body of the NFL needs to sit on the money that they make and let the players play, let the coaches coach, and, for lack of a better term, buzz off, because I am tired of their crap, and I don't want them regulating anything else. They've already ruined the kickoff with their stupid rules, and they ruin everything, and you know what? It's annoying. It's hard to defend, but don't let them have a 3rd and 1. Or better yet, be good at it too. And then everybody can just have automatic 3rd and 1s, and we'll be even. And your second down percentage of whether or not you can get it to 3rd and 1 will be a new statistic.
Joe?
So I have 2 follow-ups to that. The first is, what are you banning? Are you banning the formation? Are you banning that 4 people can't push you? Are you banning any QB sneak? Are you banning that anybody can't help you across the goal line? Does that mean O-lineman can't pull the running back over the goal line in a scrum? Does that mean you can't push the scrum back when there's a loose ball? What portion of it are you banning is the first thing. What governing body is going to determine what that portion is? The second is, I didn't know you hated evolution, Igo. You sound like all those guys back in 1947 who ran the wing tee when the Lombardi Trophy wasn't the Lombardi Trophy yet, and we didn't even have the NFL. We had the AFL and we had the NFL, and then we merged after the fact for the first Super Bowl, might I add. So the forward pass, did we want to ban the forward pass because it gave an unfair advantage? Because I love the spread offense. I live for the West Coast. I live for the ability to have the tight end line up as a lineman, put his hand down and catch a pass because he's no longer covered. I live for Taylor Decker to be able to line up and Dan Skipper reports eligible, and all of a sudden we could throw a big man a touchdown pass. I live for the fullback. The fullback wasn't always a thing. He was just another guy who put his hand down, went and kicked out the end, and now we throw Kyle Juszczyk screens out of the backfield and 75-yard darts. Football is about evolution. If you don't want the tush push to happen, great. Stop them on 1st and 2nd down, get them at 3rd and 4, and then, oh no, they got to come out in some kind of split zone. They got to come out with some kind of quick hitter on spacing, and then great, you get the ball on 4th down. Or you don't, because the new analytics have you going for it on 4th anyway.
Look, the tush push sucks. You can't tell me otherwise.
I love football.
B, the defense and special teams are not allowed to push their players. So why should the offense? Per the NFL rulebook, you can't line up in a special teams formation and push your player to try to block a field goal, because for health and safety reasons, that's not okay. But, hey, if the offense is doing it, that's fine.
The difference is that the health and safety is you have a center or a long snapper whose head's down and can become paralyzed very easily, whereas when the center's in,
the nose tackle can get paralyzed easily.
By rule, he cannot be touched.
Yeah. But the nose tackle is going to fire off with his head up. Also, I have a question about the forward pass here.
Please.
This relates to the forward pass. Is Teddy Roosevelt the greatest president of all time because he wanted to come up with the forward pass, or is William Howard Taft the greatest president of all time because he invented the 7th inning stretch? Bringing politics into sports, but in a good way.
I'm a big Teddy Roosevelt guy. I mean, the Bull Moose Party, legendary as far as his body of work anyway when it came to uniting the people and firing them up. But to give me the forward pass and to essentially become the building block that gave us the West Coast and the spread offense, I would have never gotten to experience an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary in MetLife live in front of me to Alan Lazard if Teddy Roosevelt didn't give us the forward pass.
I agree.
Everything rolls through. John Elway has no Super Bowls if there's no forward pass.
Forward pass wins, but there's
nothing. President Taft.
There's nothing that brings a baseball stadium together like the 7th in the stretch, though.
That's understandable.
All right, so I was outflanked. You guys are in favor of the BS tush push, so I guess y'all will really enjoy the Super Bowl. Plenty of tush pushes and Taylor Swift for you guys.
Can't run certain things.
Hey, they ain't gonna be showing Taylor Swift when the Chiefs aren't on offense because they convert 3rd and 1 on every single possession multiple times with the push and the tushy.
This is true.
Then we don't get to see Tay-Tay because they only show her when the Chiefs have the ball.
A good producer would have had it down at the bottom how many times we've said tush push this segment with a little counter.
Well, when your producer's also a co-host, that's hard. We need a real producer here, not just some guy who logs on a computer and hogs the show.
We love you, Philip. I'm kidding.
All good, guys.
We'll get Isaac to produce. He's smart.
There
He
you
can
go.
come up with us. He can keep up
We'll
with that
figure
stuff.
it out.
We'll get Philip up here on stage, really, with the mic, and let him truly be the co-host, non-producer. Speaking of, Mr. Producer, take us to break. We got to get a break in, and on the other side, you got to throw us some trivia as well. Sports Super Bowl trivia. We'll have that for Joseph Samson and myself. We'll get into that and more. This is Hoist the Colors on a Monday.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Looking for a great deal on a new Nissan?
At Greenville Nissan, we've got a great selection of new Nissans for under $30,000.
The stylish Nissan Sentra, offering top-notch fuel economy. The Nissan Altima, known for its comfort and technology.
The Nissan Kicks, the perfect combination with its compact design and performance. The Nissan Versa, delivering incredible value without compromising on features. And don't forget the Nissan Rogue, an award winner for 10 years in a row. Drive it home just for $22 down and $349 a month.
Visit GreenvilleNissan.com today.
Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville. Two real burgers, better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers. Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Back to Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo.
Drink up, me hearty, yo ho.
On 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back into a Monday tush-push edition of Hoist the Colors. We've got Joe Samson, Philip Pilkington. They love pushing the tush on Super Bowl Sunday. We were having that discussion in our previous segment. Do we have some Super Bowl trivia ready to go, Philip?
We do.
All right, let's
ready,
get into
Joey
it.
Football?
I live for trivia. You know this.
All righty. Sunday will be Saquon Barkley's 28th birthday. It'd be very cool to watch him win Super Bowl MVP. If he did, he'd become the 8th running back / fullback to do so. Who was the most recent backfield person? Well, I guess a quarterback lines up in the backfield. Non-quarterback that lines up in the backfield to win Super Bowl MVP.
I mean, there's no way. Somebody had to do it more recently than Terrell Davis. Nope.
No.
He was the last one.
Super
Bowl 32.
Yep. Terrell Davis.
So that was 26 years ago?
Yeah.
Is my math right on that? How was that
It was
possible?
the 97 season. This is the 24 season.
Nobody respects running backs anymore.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis was an absolute monster in that game, in that postseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only other one I would have thought was Brandon Jacobs, but he didn't win. It was Eli.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis in that game, 157 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he actually scored, or he went into the game when he had a migraine headache and could not see as a decoy. So I did. If you watch the Broncos Super Bowl documentary, which I have several times,
of course,
that is a often told story. TD, he is in the Hall of Fame because of what he did in the postseason. Obviously, he had a 2,000-yard season, but those 2 years, he was incredible. And he was the reason John Elway was able to get a Super Bowl ring. Do we have another one ready, or do we need a break first?
Well, I'll just go. Could you guys name the other 6 guys who've done it?
Oh, gosh.
1, 2,
No shot, but
4. Yeah, 5, 6.
6 guys.
6 other guys that are in Terrell Davis.
How many of them were in colored television?
Technically, the first Super Bowl was broadcasted in color, but it's not the first. I will tell you, it started with Super Bowl 8 and had went through the 90s.
Walter Payton?
No, because they didn't even let him score. Remember, they gave Refrigerator Perry the ball. It was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Richard Dent won the Super Bowl MVP that year.
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith is correct.
Correct.
I will say you have another one from is it back-to-back years with Emmitt? Or was there a year in between?
That's what I'm not
There
sure
was
about.
a couple years in between, but there was another guy against the Bills that won it. And the Bills quadruple losing for Falls of Buffalo. This is the hardest one on the list. Everybody else is like perennial Hall of Fame big name guy.
Thurman Thomas, he played for the Bills, right? So it wouldn't be him.
Yeah, it wouldn't be him.
I'm trying to think who he went against in that Super Bowl.
Tell you, it was a Giants running back.
That's what Giants running back.
Yeah, it was Linda Parcells.
Just give us the name.
I don't remember his name.
This one's Otis Anderson.
Okay.
All right, I will tell you, you're missing a back-to-back years of a Redskin and then a Raider, and then back-to-back years of a a Dolphin and a Steeler. All these being like huge big name.
Franco Harris.
Franco Harris.
Steelers.
Yep.
The Dolphins.
Larry Zonka.
Larry Zonka. Good job. Now you're missing a
And the
Redskin and a
Redskin.
Giant or a Raider.
Redskin and a Raider. Tony Dorsett.
That was a good one, but no.
No. Who else was good for the Raiders back in the day?
Don't know. Wasn't there.
Heisman Trophy winner.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen.
And
The Redskin is easy. There's a picture of him in the Super Bowl running down the sidelines, like booking it, even though he's kind of slow and fat.
the white dude.
Yeah, and white. That's why he's slow.
Well, I can't think of his name. Just give it to me.
John Riggins.
John Riggins.
John Riggins.
Back when running backs
I'm
mattered.
gonna go get a John Riggins jersey now.
There you go.
So
show out.
Do we think Saquon? What are the odds on Saquon winning MVP? I would imagine pretty good, right?
Probably like
Let's
plus
see.
240.
Super Bowl MVP.
He's got to be the
odds.
favorite. Besides,
No,
Mahomes.
it's got to be Mahomes. Well, yeah, besides Mahomes, yeah.
So
Like one
according to FanDuel, Patrick Mahomes is the favorite at plus 110. Saquon Barkley is the second highest at plus 280. Jalen Hurts, plus 350 is third highest, followed by.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen if they win. That's how it's gonna play out.
Exactly. That's why I don't hate it.
There's
I
such
can't
a
even-
steep drop off after those three. Travis
can't
Kelce's
even
fourth at
think of
plus
the last.
1,800.
There ain't gonna be. It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah.
Was Cooper Kupp the MVP when the Rams won?
Yeah.
Who do y'all think is
so
fifth
he would
on
have been
this
the
list?
last non-quarterback. Fifth on the list?
Yep.
Do you give us a team?
Chiefs.
So he's on the Chiefs.
He is on the Chiefs. He is ahead of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Worthy?
Yep, Xavier Worthy is
Xavier, yeah.
fifth, plus 3,000. So
What's DeAndre Hopkins on that list?
DeAndre Hopkins is well down the list at plus 18,000, which shows
Yeah, I'm
you
gonna
how
hammer
far he
that.
is. He's fallen off. I kind of like Harrison Butker at plus 20,000. I could just see like a bunch of field goals. In
They
this
win
game.
it 15-7.
You know,
It's
because Jake Elliott
15-14.
missed the 2 other field goals, that adds up.
No, they win at 15-14. He goes 5 for 5. He kicks a game winner from 72 yards.
Good indoors. Yeah.
So no kicker has ever been named a Super Bowl MVP.
No. Only one kicker has ever been named league MVP.
Who is that?
I don't even know his name. It was the Redskins kicker in the 82 season when they only played like 9 regular season games because the season was really short.
I can't believe they gave a kicker MVP.
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I'm just.
I love when we have bits like
Mark Mosley.
What year was it? 82?
82.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Why?
I don't know.
That's
Which is weird because didn't Jerry Rice have like 18 touchdowns or something that year?
Probably.
I think that's the year he broke the record.
No kicker should ever win MVP. All right, he finished the 82 season making 20 of 21 attempts.
If
He missed a
Sebastian
field goal.
Janikowski never won MVP, no kicker should win MVP. That man was the reason the Raiders were in games in the early 2000s.
Let's see. In 1982, never mind. No, Rice wasn't even playing then. There was another short season that he broke records, but
I've got a major problem with this. The year Mark Mosley won MVP, he went 16 of 19 on extra points. He missed 3 extra points, and we gave him an MVP.
What do you go on field goal?
20 of 21.
You know who should have got MVP that year?
Anybody else?
The guy who drove the snowplow for the Patriots. Remember that? The famous snowplow game? That happened in 1982. Portrayed the Patriots season 4, not really, because they still took Tony Eason in the first round the next year, at like the 10th pick or something like that. But yeah.
Wild.
I can't
Still
believe
one
that.
of the best franchise in sports. Ridiculous.
All right. We got to get our final break in. When we come back, we'll talk maybe some. We'll give Joe a second to talk WWE. We also have to continue our ECU baseball rundown on the other side. Our baseball roster rundown. We'll do that. This is Hoist the Colors on a Monday.
Ready to go for big savings? You've got the green light at Greenville Toyota with a new Corolla just $239 a month or new Tacoma only $349 a month. The green light savings event is on right now at Greenville Toyota.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Everybody loves tiebreakers.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. You get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
Hey, grab me one too.
Your roof is a vital part of protecting your home and family from dangerous storms and hurricanes. At Assist Roofing, we install and maintain metal roofing that provides precise protection. Add value to your home while lowering utility costs with a fortified roof to last a lifetime. With 0% financing, grants, and Energy Star Green Roofing tax credit available. Call us to schedule a free consultation so you can weather any storm with confidence.
Green is what you'll save during our Green Light Savings event at Greenville Toyota. Get a new Camry, $269 a month, or a new RAV4, $339 a month. When the green light is on, you save big at Greenville Toyota.
What's happening?
Tell me what's happening. Every ECU fan's one stop for all things ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here, Hoist the Colors on a Monday. We've got Joe Samson and Philip Pilkington alongside. We'll do a quick roster rundown. Joe, I know you probably don't follow this as closely as we have, so you can, if you want to weigh in, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's perfectly fine too. So what we've been doing is going numerically down the ECU baseball roster because you've got 28 to 30 new players this year, and we've been introducing folks to some of these. So we're gonna continue with number 13, Michael Kalinich, I believe is his name, pronunciation. He is a freshman catcher from Orlando, Florida, Lake Brantley High School, the Orlando area. So he's a freshman catcher. Here's kind of the rundown, guys, from seeing scrimmages. You've got Walker Barron back as a sophomore. He'll probably start. He's a right-handed hitter. Michael Kalinich bats left. Really good bat. I like his bat a lot. I think defensively he's coming along. I think in the future he's going to be really good. I expect him and John Collins, the Boston College transfer, to be kind of your backups to start with. John Collins providing the veteran leadership as a experienced college bat, and then Kalinich kind of like your future guy behind Walker Barron, your probable starter now. So there's number 13, Michael Kalinich. Philip, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, just the fact that you're saying it sounds like they have some trust in him being the number 2. Not something that CG's historically done with catchers at a young age. The only catcher I can remember in recent memory that's actually been trusted to be in the lineup as a freshman was Walker Barron. Not that he played a lot, but just the fact that McChrystal was DH showed you what Coach Godwin thought of Walker Barron, that he could have easily subbed in if J-Dub played. So that just lets you know how advanced this young man is.
So, Joe, look, not that I expect you to know Michael Kalinich's bio, but having catcher depth, you know baseball well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, we've seen Justin Wilcoxon almost catch like every inning, it feels like, for the past
Literally
number of years. So having 2 to 3 guys there you can count on, I think, would be pretty important.
Yeah, it's huge. It might actually be the missing piece for what it was, because when Wilcoxon started out on the DL, if you would, in the beginning of the season, and then McChrystal still had the back issues, there was a large hole when it came to that lineup and trying to figure out where you were going to try and pencil guys in. You were switching things around, and at one point you had Mac Ravich in the 8 hole because you didn't have that kind of depth that you needed at the top where you could have slid somebody down, so you had to move some power hitters around that year. And then last year, obviously, Riley Johnson moves to the leadoff spot in some spots, and then Carter Cunningham becomes your power bat. It's great to have depth like that. You can, because the catcher position, especially in today's day and age, is all about power. It's all about guys being able to hit the ball over the fence, but you need a defensive guy. You need an ability to command a pitching staff, and I think that's what that represents, to have 3 or 4 guys who you're comfortable enough with that you can roll. Because if you need some speed on the bases, you can go to a defensive substitution late because you need to get that run across to protect it. And I think that's just something they were missing last year, and I'm glad Cliff addressed it.
All right, we'll hit one more. I'll handle this one, then we'll get to Joe's quick take on WWE. So Tyler Brashear, number 14 on the roster, freshman, 6'3", 200-pound right-hander out of Pennsylvania. Seen him in a few scrimmages, 88 to 90 miles per hour, has some good off-speed, kind of some differing arm slots. I think he'll have a chance to help this year, still maturing, but good size, good projectability, a young arm they really like. So Tyler Brashear, I believe is pronunciation there. He is at number 14. All right, so we've got about 2 minutes left, and I did not attend Scooter's Royal Rumble party. Did you go, Philip?
Yeah.
How was it?
I wish Nick would have been a little quieter when the Duke Carolina game was on. Luckily, it was a blowout, but
yeah, congrats to your boys.
Yeah, appreciate
That's
it.
his thing.
So, yeah, man, it was.
That's his thing.
Yeah, my roommate was big. I wanted to watch Rumble. My roommate really wanted to watch it, so we had a few offers, different places to go throughout the day. And
offers.
Well, I mean, like people were like, "Want to come over and watch basketball?" And I was like, "Yeah, but Thomas wants to watch Rumble," and I kind of wanted to watch it too. It's like Super Bowl party. You get multiple offers. But yeah, I went to Scooters.
So, Joe, your thoughts on, first off, John Cena not winning and Jey Uso winning and eliminating him to win it?
The first thing is my family members and my girlfriend asked me, did somebody die? Because the shock on my face when Jey Uso won the Rumble, my mouth was aghast. And I just don't know how I was able to internalize my feelings at that time. But my face, they were like, who died? And that was like 7-year-old me. John Cena didn't win his last Rumble. I understood it from a storytelling perspective. If John Cena comes back and he wins that, it's cheap. It feels sheepish because he hasn't shown up. He announces one thing. He does this at the opening of Raw. And everybody's like, oh, he's going to win the Rumble. No, winning Elimination Chamber, having to kind of go from the bit part he has been and be the full-time guy and be Super Cena again is part of the storyline. It's going to be part of the build-up. Jey Uso, however, the 6 moves of Us, I don't really know if he's main event WrestleMania type. I watched him wrestle Gunther at Saturday Night Main Event, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think Cena wins Elimination Chamber, and I think he challenges Cody at WrestleMania. For all of those who actually know what I'm talking about.
So 100%, you think, and we were talking about it after, but everybody's on the same board. Uso goes after Gunther, not after
100%.
Cody.
Raw goes after Raw, and then Cena going after Cody because he's the face of it. One last chance, yeah. But I think Cody wins, and then Cena beats Randy Orton at SummerSlam for 17 after Randy Orton beats Cody at Backlash.
All right. There's your 2 minutes of WWE talk that we have a year. Joe, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the
thanks.
Super Bowl.
Hey, go tush push.
We'll get you on next Monday, I think, to wrap it up. And we talked NBA, Super Bowl, and everything today, so we got a lot done.
Mavs are stupid.
We will we'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo. Tune in weekdays at noon for all things ECU sports. Get a recap of the show at 943thegame.com.